Tonight on Localite, Phil Jensen and Jon discuss the history of Luhr Jensen, the storied company that Phil's father founded in Hood River. Phil is a bastion of local history and has a profound understanding of fishing, the outdoors, economy, and history. All that and more tonight on Localite.
Phil Jensen, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, John.
It's really an honor to finally meet you.
Well, okay, thank you. It's an honor to meet you.
Like I said, I've known your name, and seen your building in Hood River and been aware of your operation for many, many years. And I kind of want to just know, your dad started the company, and how did it start from this, little tiny Hood River company to being what it is today? I mean, that's a big question, I know.
That's a big question, but it is the question, He was a farmer, and he worked in the mill in ND in the late teens and the early 20s, and carved out a little 10-acre orchard and had chickens and cows and worked in the mill and did all those things we did. But during the Depression and subsequently in 1929, 1930, it became very difficult to make the payments on the place. And so he sold it, and what little he had, he moved to town, bought a house down on 725 Sherman Street. That's where I was born.
Right in Hood River.
Right in Hood River, and sold radios, door to door. The big radios, the big ones.
Yeah, I read about that.
The FDR type radios.
Yeah, the fireside.
Yeah. So, and he loved to fish, of course. And he was very good at his hands, very good. So he started making his own fishing lures, and he had a really good fishing friend, Emil Grubnick, that was a German tool and die maker that made the dies for the several Bear Valley spinners, Willow Leaf spinners, Coast Special, Hart spinners, made the dies for those out of old car parts and a file. And I still got those, by the way, in his original hand crank press, one at a time. I've got those, and started making the spinners, and he was a good salesman too. He was a little brash, a little in your face about selling stuff, which is how you have to be if you're going to be a salesman.
Yeah, especially if you're pitching something like radios or lures, or anything, I guess.
So he began to sell his lures at Franz Hardware in Hood River and Stadelman Bond in the Dalles, and shortly the salesman from the Portland wholesale places, Oregon Marine Supply, and the names don't quite come to me yet, but they will. They came and they said, "Hey, we can sell those spinners up and down the valley or over on the coast." And so he father got together with the owners of those companies, and he said, "Well, if you'll finance a building for me and give me a little bit of assistance in supplies, I will pay you back in product." And lo and behold, he built a shop out in the back, a rather large shop, actually, I'm surprised, out the back of the home at 725 Sherman Street.
Is it still there?
It's still there. It's an apartment building now, like everything is.
Yeah.
And he went to work, and he sold those spinners through the 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. Then the war shut him down, couldn't get materials. So I'm not sure how he survived and fed us all. I remember we ate a lot of mush and oranges and spinach and stuff like that. Mother cooked and all that kind of stuff, And in 1945, 46, he bought an acreage. I think it was about 2.5, 3 acres out on May Street and Rand Street. Those of us that are in Hood River would know where that is.
Absolutely.
I remember he got a donkey and a goat. The donkey came in and ate the thistles, and the goat came in and ate the blackberries. Or maybe it was the other way around. I don't remember.
But they were they had a purpose.
They had a purpose, and he had a mule. They had that donkey and a big steel sled that he'd roll rocks onto, and he cleared the rocks off the ground and he rolled them over to the edge of the little bluff and rolled them down over the bluff, and they're still down there.
Wow.
And he built a larger shop out there, a 6,000 square foot footprint, by the way, which I still own, and I'm remodeling into a man's cave. It's wonderful.
Oh, really?
It's got my own Blue Moon Saloon, which I've always wanted to have. And it's cute.
Nice.
It's good. I got the pool table from Tip Top Tavern. Those of us that are in Hood River again will remember the Tip Top Tavern.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to invite us over there sometime.
I'd love to have you come. Really, I really would. So after the war, then my brother Luhr Jensen Jr., who was involved with Dad a little bit before the war, when he was 19, 20, 21.
Okay.
So he came back, and Luhr Jr., he was a good shade tree mechanic, and also a fisherman. He was, by the way, the president of the Isaac Walton League for Oregon for, I think, 6 years. And then that led to him and a few others to form what they called the Northwest Association of Steelheaders.
Okay.
I don't think he felt that the Isaac Walton League, which is headquartered way back east, really was doing as much for the Northwest as he felt that they should. So he and a few other the guys started the Northwest Association of Steelheaders, which he was the founding president of. So his involvement with the kind of the mechanics of the manufacturing and improving things and what have you, and his really interest in fishing was really put the wheels on the company. It really did. I have a lot to be grateful, both for my father for kind of sowing the seeds, and for my brother Luhr Jr., who, like I say, put the wheels on the company. Then after a real small stint in the Navy and at University of Oregon, where I graduated in 1960, then I came back and to be in the business, my father's business, and was grateful for the opportunity. And we began to build a sales force, nationwide sales force, and it was successful. Our main area would be in the Northwest or in the West, particularly for trout, salmon, and steelhead. The rest of the country mostly is in bass and maybe pike and whitefish and a few things like that that they are really popular back east. Mostly bass. And a lot of strong companies back east that we're strong to compete with.
Oh, okay.
But we did well, and then in 1967, they transplanted some salmon from our very own Columbia River at Bonneville Hatchery into the Great Lakes. And that gave us kind of a segue, a big footprint back there, because they came looking to us. What do we catch these monsters with? And so we said, we're there for you.
Right, right.
So we went back there. My brother Luhr Jr., was back there 3 summers with a boat and traveled all around the Great Lakes, mostly in Lake Michigan, but some in Lake Superior, some in Lake Erie. Lake Ontario even had a nice run of salmon. And we established our name back there.
Very good.
And that was a very good impetus for our growth.
Right, right. And we got to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk about sort of that growth and how it continued and the different companies that you acquired.
Yes.
So we'll continue the conversation right after the break. Be right back.
When we return,
We saw the movie The Graduate.
Yes.
And he said, get into plastics.
Yes.
So I said, well, that's a good idea. So we bought this little company down in Burbank that manufactured plastic fly boxes.